The most dangerous NIMBY opponent is not the one that is the loudest or the meanest. It's the one that you never see coming. And it's the NIMBY wolf in sheep's clothing, where they are a deceptive profile that's looking to be a voice of reason in the public debate, but they have an ulterior motive. And this wolf is responsible every year for billions of dollars in real estate projects being defeated. So let's get into this war room mode and expose this profile. Let's go.
Initialize program.
Welcome to the NIMBY War Room. I'm the founder and your host, Patrick Slevin, of this growing YouTube channel, where we are here to expose the NIMBY playbook and also the actors and the opponents who execute this figurative and literal document, right? And so let's expose this wolf in sheep's clothing that is not everything he's cracked up to be. And there's three ways to identify this profile. The first one is they show up at the public hearing and they lead off by saying, "I'm not a NIMBY." Now, this whole "not in my backyard." I know neighbors are really angry. I really even didn't want to be here, but I wanted to offer my insights. And so they go on and offer their insights, which I'll get to in a minute. So that's one sign. The second sign is they actually support the project when they're addressing the commission or the elected body and saying, "Look, I think this is actually a good project, but I just don't see it happening here. It's not a good fit." So what they're doing there is gaining credibility as being reasonable, right? It's like they actually say they like the project, but in actuality, they want this thing killed from the get-go. So they're not being honest, and that's where the deceptive component comes from. And the third element to support the second and sometimes the third is they show up with a big 3-inch, 3-ring binder, right, of thousands of pages of Google research. And so they go and they show this research, and by virtue of what they pulled off the internet, now they're self-appointed experts. They're experts in traffic, they're experts in soil samples, they're expert in atmospheric phenomena, you name it. They are there at the podium now saying that because of their few hours of research and their expertise, it trumps the applicant's experts because, they're paid, right? The PhDs who have been working in this for decades, their opinions, even though they're educators, not as educated as a few hours on the internet. And so those are the three elements that expose this profile. And also I'll give you a bonus. When they show up at the public hearing, it's really the first time anyone sees them, but you can bet, and it happens over and over, is that they are the wizard behind the curtain. They're the ones orchestrating the Facebook group page that's attacking the project. They are sponsoring and encouraging the petitions against the project, forwarding the yard signs, and everything else in between that you see from a traditional NIMBY opposition campaign. This NIMBY wolves in sheep's clothing is the conductor, and now they revealed themselves at the podium. And so what happens when they achieve this? When they now make themselves public? Well, here are the three elements of influence that they're able to obtain. The first one is they now become the darling of the local news media because they present themselves as a balance between the angry neighbors and the self-serving developer. So now the media just loves getting quotes from them. Mind you, again, that this NIMBY sheep's in clothing here is trying to kill the project in a deceptive, very sly kind of way. Secondly, they gain the confidence and the relief sometimes of these elected officials. They're like, thank goodness someone in the community is not yelling at us. They don't really like the project, but they're being reasonable. And so let's go ahead and put the developer in touch with them. Let's encourage both parties, to find some kind of win-win scenario. which leaves element number 3 of impact. The developer now has lost any kind of control of the destiny of this project. Now they have to now interface with this wolf. And guess what? Concessions will never be enough, because now the wolf has that strategic high ground. He's gonna kill this project by 1,000 cuts, and to make it fiscally implausible. And that's their goal, is to whittle it down, your project down, so much so that it's just, there's no way you can even get this project approved internally. And so that's the effectiveness of this NIMBY wolf in sheep's clothing, as I call them. That's their intent, is to kill this project, cut it and gut it, right? But in the public, they look like they are the savior in all this chaos and controversy. So you want to be on the lookout for them. You want to be able to identify, they're men and women. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. You want to identify them as soon as possible, and you can typically find them by building your case, right? And in this video here that I have up on the screen, or about to have on the screen, go to that video where I'm exposing the playbook and giving some of their secrets, and then I'll give you how you build your case of credibility, advocacy, solutions, and education. Watch that video and you'll be able to start turning your NIMBY opposition, led by these wolves, into yes in my backyard opportunities. See you next time.